World War II was a global war that lasted from 1939 to 1945. The vast majority of the world's countries, including all of the great powers, eventually formed two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. In a state of total war, directly involving more than 100 million personnel from more than 30 countries, the major participants threw their entire economic, industrial, and scientific capabilities behind the war effort, blurring the distinction between civilian and military resources. Tens of millions of people died due to genocides, including the Holocaust, premeditated death from starvation, massacres, and disease. Aircraft played a major role in the conflict, including in the strategic bombing of population centers, the development of nuclear weapons, and the only two uses of such in war. The following are some of the major events of World War II. The invasion of Poland by Nazi Germany in September 1939, which marked the beginning of the war. The bombing of Pearl Harbor by Japan in December 1941, which brought the United States into the war. The Battle of Stalingrad in 1942-43, which was a turning point in the war on the Eastern Front. The D-Day landings in Normandy in June 1944, which marked the beginning of the Allied invasion of Western Europe. The dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, which led to the surrender of Japan. World War II had a profound impact on the world, both during and after the war. It led to the deaths of millions of people, the destruction of cities and infrastructure, and the redrawing of political boundaries. It also led to the development of new technologies, such as the atomic bomb, and the creation of new international organizations, such as the United Nations. The legacy of World War II continues to be felt today. The war's impact on the global economy, politics, and culture is still being studied and debated. The war also left a lasting legacy of suffering. The causes of World War II are debated, but contributing factors included the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, Spanish Civil War, Second Sino-Japanese War, Soviet-Japanese border conflicts, the rise of fascism in Europe, and European tensions in the aftermath of World War I. World War II is generally considered to have begun on September 1, 1939, when Nazi Germany, under Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. The United Kingdom and France subsequently declared war on Germany on September 3. Under the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact of August 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union had partitioned Poland and marked out their spheres of influence across Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Romania. From late 1939 to early 1941, in a series of campaigns and treaties, Germany conquered or controlled much of continental Europe, in a military alliance with Italy, Japan, and other countries called the Axis. Following the onset of campaigns in North Africa and East Africa, and the fall of France in mid-1940, the war continued primarily between the European Axis powers and the British Empire, with war in the Balkans, the aerial battle of Britain, the Blitz of the United Kingdom, and the Battle of the Atlantic. On June 22, 1941, Germany led the European Axis powers in an invasion of the Soviet Union, opening the Eastern Front, the largest land theater of war in history. Japan, which aimed to dominate Asia and the Pacific, was at war with the Republic of China by 1937. In December 1941, Japan attacked American and British territories with near-simultaneous offensives against Southeast Asia and the Central Pacific, including an attack on the U.S. fleet at Pearl Harbor, which resulted in the United States and United Kingdom declaring war against Japan. The European Axis powers declared war on the United States in solidarity. Japan soon captured much of the Western Pacific, but its advances were halted in 1942 after losing the critical Battle of Midway. Later, Germany and Italy were defeated in North Africa and at Stalingrad in the Soviet Union. Key setbacks in 1943, including a series of German defeats on the Eastern Front, the Allied invasions of Sicily and the Italian mainland, and Allied offensives in the Pacific. In 1944, the Western Allies invaded German-occupied France, while the Soviet Union regained its territorial losses and pushed Germany and its allies back. During 1944 and 1945, Japan suffered reversals in mainland Asia, while the Allies crippled the Japanese Navy and captured key Western Pacific islands. The war in Europe concluded with the liberation of German-occupied territories and the invasion of Germany by the Western Allies and the Soviet Union, culminating in the fall of Berlin. To Soviet troops, Hitler's suicide, and the German unconditional surrender on May 8, 1945. Following the refusal of Japan to surrender on the terms of the Potsdam Declaration, issued July 26, 1945, the United States dropped the first atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima on August 6 and Nagasaki on August 9. Faced with an imminent invasion of the Japanese archipelago, the possibility of additional atomic bombings, and the Soviet Union's declared entry into the war against Japan on the eve of invading Manchuria, Japan announced on August 10 its intention to surrender, signing a surrender document on September 2, 1945. World War II changed the political alignment and social structure of the globe and set the foundation for the international order of the world's nations for the rest of the 20th century and into the present day. The United Nations was established to foster international cooperation and prevent future conflicts, with the victorious great powers, China, France, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States, becoming the permanent members of its Security Council. The Soviet Union and the United States emerged as rival superpowers, setting the stage for the nearly half-century-long Cold War. In the wake of European devastation, the influence of its great powers waned.